Chris Scalzo here with
Matt Howell. And it appears Chris is doing his best ennui impression.
No, as of the taping of this episode, Aaron Judge has been hit on the hand and taken out of the game. This is Tuesday night, and I have no idea to the extent of his injury. So I'm a little concerned. That's all. And I'm gonna try and I'm gonna push through here. Maybe everything will be fine. Or maybe the Yankee season is over. I don't know. But yeah, Matt. How about let's get me going. Let's knock it out of the park with this intro. What do you say?
Yeah, very apropos metaphor there. What is this, Barstool Sports? No, this is The First Run. We're here to talk about movies, and this week on The First Run, we are talking about the latest from Pixar, Inside Out 2. They go back to the well and bring us into the mind of the most terrifying creature on the world, that of an early teenage girl. And they introduce a bunch of new emotions, and we'll see, is it as poignant as the first was? Does it have as broad of appeal? Well, we're going to give you our thoughts on that. As always, we'll give you the big rundown on the physical media releases for the week, our Viper video and streaming picks of the week, and then we'll wrap the show up with our 5 favorite family films. Not necessarily animated films, but films for the whole family. That sounds like fun. That sounds nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now his energy is way low because
I just keep refreshing Twitter every few minutes is what I'm going to be doing. Go ahead. What do you want me to do?
I mean, is this just your love of the Yankees, or do you have them on your fantasy team or something? Or you got big stakes money going on this?
I bet the mortgage for about the year on Aaron Judge not getting hit in the hand tonight.
All right, well,
and
then
really, it was the absolute worst bet I could ever have made.
You know yeah. I mean, that almost seems. I don't even know what the payout could have possibly been.
Well, it was 10 times. No, it was 100 times my mortgage. So I think it was 100 to 1, and I picked the wrong night. You can do it every day.
Yeah.
And I did the wrong one today.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate for you. I'm sure Mrs. Fresh Run will take that very well.
Okay. Should I play a clip?
Yeah, please. Can we get this? Yes, please play a clip.
Okay.
Orange? Who made the console orange?
Do I look orange?
I didn't touch it.
Orange is not my color.
Not me. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, I am just such a huge fan of yours, and now here I am meeting you face to face. Okay, how can I help? I can take notes, get coffee, manage your calendar, walk your dog, carry your things, watch you sleep.
Wow, you have a lot of energy. Maybe you could just stay in one place?
Anything. Just call my name, and I'm here for you.
Okay, love that. And what was your name again?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can get ahead of myself. I'm anxiety. I'm one of Riley's new emotions, and we are just super jazzed to be here. Where can I put my stuff?
What do you mean, we?
All right, so Aaron Judge left tonight's game in the 4th inning after being hit by a pitch in the left hand. Matt, he'll undergo imaging at the New York Presbyterian this evening. Is expected to see by the Yankees head team physician, Dr. Christopher Ahmad. So we still don't know yet exactly what it is, but he has to go further imaging. I know they have an X-ray machine right there at Yankee Stadium, and it's not great because I don't know if you know Mookie Betts broke his hand just past week, and he's out 6 to 8 weeks. He got hit basically kind of in the same place, not quite as dead on. But I like Verdugo has been a big boost for the team, and tonight he was yelling at the pitcher going, just me and you, and after I'm done with you, I'm gonna fuck up that guy too. And I do love, I do love me some Verdugo. So what are we talking about?
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Inside Out 2 is all about, Chris?
I was thinking this must have been like a really weird experience for you, because you actually, this is right where First Run Junior, right? This is kind of her time-ish.
Yeah, she'll be 13 in 2 months.
Oh, I can't wait to get into that with you here. All right. Inside Out 2. Riley now is, she's just turned 13. She's entering high school. And she has a big tryout for the high school team, the hockey team. And hitting puberty and dealing with a whole bunch of new emotions, we're gifted anxiety, embarrassment, ennui, and envy. And now she's negotiating this new life as she's trying to make the team and assess and deal with these new emotions. Of course, our existing emotions there are all freaked out by their new neighbors. And anxiety basically is taking over everything, and it's up to Amy Poehler's Joy and the rest of the OG crew to try and set things right. How's that
Right.
sound?
That sounds about right. Sure. That works.
All right, Matt. So, is this more Cars 2 or Toy Story 2? What are your thoughts on Inside Out 2?
Well, I think saying it's Cars 2 is way too harsh. But I will say it's closer to Cars 2, I think, to me, than Toy Story 2. I don't think it's quite as universally poignant as the first one is, where it kind of touches on something that's kind of universal for everybody, whereas this kind of asks you to go back to a time where most people are at their awkwardness. You know, they're most awkward. They're still trying to figure themselves out. And I think it's got some interesting things to say. I think it's probably interesting for people in that age bracket maybe to see it, and maybe parents of people in those age brackets to see it, but I don't think it has the quite universal appeal that the first one does, where it kind of hits everybody in something that they can understand.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I think. So,
All right,
all
good
right.
talk. Good talk.
Good. I'm glad we did that. So, yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it definitely kind of suffers a bit from sequelitis. I think it just doesn't really capture it doesn't have kind of the magic and power I think that the first film did. And it doesn't. Now I will say it does have some emotional resonance with me. I think particularly too, I think it absolutely sticks the landing and does a great job there. But I think one of my big challenges with the film is, Matt, it's not as funny as the first film was, right? It's not like a half-baked sequel. It's not a Cars 2. I don't think it's even close to that. But it just doesn't feel as emotionally engaging as the prior film was. I think the introduction of the new emotions are good and smart. The anxiety, embarrassment, ennui, and envy. I think the expansion of the characters is handled well. I think the stakes of the film are really good as well. I buy into all of that. I'm rooting for Riley, and as everything kind of gets figured out, I think the animation of it is still really great. I think the epic task portion that Joy and the crew have to go on didn't really engage me at all.
Right.
It felt kind of more like filler a lot. But I enjoyed more here than I didn't. I think Maya Hawke as Anxiety does a great job. I think the returning cast is all good in this, right? And I think watching Riley develop into a multi-layered person with combating and kind of intersecting emotions was really interesting. And I was engaged and loved all of that stuff. It just didn't really get kind of bogged down in where we have to work our way through her subconscious and brain to get to the thing. All that stuff didn't really work for me really in any capacity. And again, like I say, I just didn't find this as amusing as I did the first one as well. The balance of the humor and the intellectuality, which I don't think is a word, but the emotional investment and how that film kind of grabs you from the very beginning, it's just not really here, unfortunately, for me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's interesting. I think what's weird is we do get a flash into some of the adult minds with mom and dad, right, into their emotions and and all of those kind of secondary emotions, anxiety, envy, embarrassment, they're all not there, which is, I don't know what they're trying to say with that. But they don't have.
Well, they show up I think every one of their anxieties shows up at the end when they're having dinner at the table or something like that. She says, how was blank blank? And she goes to Ennui like, oh, it was fine. What and then all of a sudden mom's anxiety or something pops in and goes, that's it, that's the answer we're gonna get. And I think the same thing happened with her dad, and then dad's like, all right, well, what's going on with the game?
Yeah, I kind of completely. I guess you're right. Even you describing it, I don't remember that, so I don't say what it says to me about the film at all. I don't really know. So, what did you think about some of the replacements to our principal voice actors? We no longer have Bill Hader as Fear or Mindy Kaling as Disgust. They've been replaced by Tony Hale and Liza Lapira. So, what did you think about that? Did you immediately notice that? Was there a drop in quality for you there?
I did not know. I knew something. I apologize for Disgust. I didn't really notice a difference. I did notice a difference with Fear, and Tony Hale is fine.
Yeah.
I guess I've seen him, like, I don't know if you've seen him in, I don't even remember what commercials he's doing now, but he's a spokesperson for something. Maybe it's a phone or something,
Yeah,
but
right.
those commercials are terrible. Really bad. And I just think of, well, he's really good in Arrested Development, so I'll just kind of I'll stick with that. But no, yeah, I think the replacement, they're fine. I think really the core, you got Amy Poehler's back, Lewis Black is back, Phyllis Smith is back. Mm-hmm. So I think those are always more the kind of the cores for me in regards to the emotions and the performances. So I think that's fine. It's fine. Frank Oz is in this, which is kind of fun for a brief minute. Mm-hmm. What about you? Was it an issue for you?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really, honestly, I didn't remember much about Fear from the first one, so I couldn't, I don't know if I missed Bill Hader at all, really. But I did notice a distinct difference just in the voice. I'm like, that doesn't sound like Mindy Kaling. Like, and I had to go look into it and say, oh, well, that's because it's not her. So, otherwise I thought it was fine. I actually found Disgust to be, I don't know, more lively, I think, more pertinent than I did in the first one. So, but I digress. So I don't know what else to say about this film. I don't know if we need a deep dive discussion on it. I mean, I think it's fine. I think, what are you going to give this film?
I got it sitting at a B right now.
Do you? Yeah.
Because the ending, like I said, I think it absolutely nails the ending, and I loved all the stuff with Riley working her way through her growth with the hockey team, and then particularly her relationship with her friends.
Right.
All that stuff, I think, worked out really well for me.
Yeah.
And it looked great.
It did look great. I'll give it a B as well, but again, it's one of those like right on the cusp, like a B minus and B. But I'll give it a B.
That's very gentlemanly of you. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Inside Out 2. Oh, I got a feeling, Matt, we're going to be out of here in 28 minutes. Inside Out 2 is currently in theaters. If you had a chance to see it, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Go ahead and shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. And Ayo Edebiri is in this too, who I love. She plays Envy. We don't really get much out of her, unfortunately, so that was a little disappointing. But yeah, but it really is kind of a showcase, I think, for Maya Hawke as anxiety for the most part. So, all right, chance to see it? Shoot us an email. Great. Let's go ahead, Matt, and keep rolling and talk about what's coming up on physical media this upcoming Tuesday. Because here, too, most of the clips this week are going to be pretty short, too. So, but you can pick this up in 4K very, very soon.
Come on. I want you to meet a friend of mine. Hey, Raymond, you get enough beer for Ben, too. What kind of beer do you like? Heineken. Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
That's right. That, of course, is... I like how we're focusing this episode on family films, and I got to drop that Blue Velvet clip in there with Frank. Pabst Blue Ribbon being released by Criterion in 4K, Matt, this upcoming Tuesday, June 25th. All the same special features included in the Blu-ray originally, but now you can pick it up in 4K. So there you go. Number 5?
Number 5?
Warner Archive is releasing The Flash. The original TV show with John Wesley Shipp is being released in Blu-ray with a 6-disc set, new 4K restorations from the original camera negatives. I gotta tell you, I have this on DVD. I watched, I think, like 5 or 6 episodes when I first bought it, and I never kind of went back to it.
Yeah.
I would probably upgrade this, because I gotta tell you, that DVD transfer is not great.
Yeah.
So I really hope that these 4K restorations on the Blu-rays look really sharp. I loved that show, Flash, when I was a kid. And I remember the issue 2, man. I don't know if you watched it, but the problem is they kept moving it.
Right.
I know one of the big problems was how expensive it was.
Yeah.
To do the speed technology, but it had a new night like every 4 weeks. It's like they seemed to move it to a different night, and they killed the show. So, but it's pretty dang good. So you can pick that up on Tuesday. If you have not seen it, I would recommend it.
4!
One of Matt's favorite films of the year, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, is being released as well. You can get that in Blu-ray and 4K, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, audio commentary by the director Gil Keenan. It's leading extended scenes, Easter eggs, and a whole bunch of other making of featurettes. Matt, are you going to pick up Frozen Empire?
No, because I didn't pick up, what was the other one? Afterlife either.
Yeah. It's better, though, right, than Afterlife? Didn't we agree that it's better than Afterlife? Did we get there?
I mean, it's maybe a little too harsh, but that goes back to the kind of classic Scalzo phrase. It's like, what, praising gonorrhea.
Syphilis for not being
gonorrhea for not being syphilis kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't think that's even my joke. I think I heard that once years ago. So, all right. Yeah, well, Frozen Empire. There you go.
Can you hit it from there?
I got 3 shots. That's enough.
Can't argue with a confident man.
Criterion is also putting out The Underground Railroad. This is Barry Jenkins' television series they did on Amazon Prime. I have not seen it. Basically, Amazon Prime is like a dead zone of streaming for me. I never go on there. But I've heard really, really great things. As a 4K digital master on this, it's about a young woman named Cora who makes an amazing discovery during her attempt to break free from slavery in the Deep South. Audio commentaries on, I believe, on every episode from what I understand. There's also a graphic novel included, which is an adaptation of Genesis, which was an unfilmed chapter in the series. I just didn't make that one episode. So you can get a graphic novel version of it, some deleted scenes, and more. I've heard nothing but fantastic stuff. And I love Barry Jenkins. Everything he's done, I have adored. Though I'm concerned that's going to change now because he's doing that Mufasa or whatever it is. He's doing that Lion King prequel. So whatever. I don't know. That's fine. I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
That's a number 2.
The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is being released. This is Guy Ritchie's film about the first Special Forces mission that the British put out. You get an HDR presentation, a Dolby Atmos audio track, and one making a featurette called The Ministry of Filmmaking. From what I understand, it's pretty good.
All right.
So,
I'm surprised you didn't make us watch it because it's Guy Ritchie. It's got your boy Henry Cable in it. So yeah,
Alan. Was it Rich in there? You have Jack Reacher. I'm gonna watch it. So maybe we'll do it as a second episode because we haven't abandoned that entirely. Just we need something that's really gonna, as Matt likes to say, get our juices flowing. So
I don't say that. I say something I've got juice for. That's a different.
Okay, sure. All right. So and then finally, where are we? What comes after 2?
There can be only one.
I did see this, and I think, Matt, you would like it. It is called Monkey Man, the directorial debut of Dev Patel. You get an HDR 10 presentation of the film, Dolby Atmos track, an alternate opening, alternate ending, 6 deleted and extended scenes, and some other making of featurettes and a feature commentary. And I saw this in the theater. I enjoyed it. Okay. I think it's interesting. It kind of bills itself as this nonstop action John Wicky type thing, and it's good. He's not like a superhero in this, right? Where he's invulnerable, no metal business suits or bulletproof business suits type thing. Sure. But it's kind of raw, and I did really enjoy it. So I think, Matt, you should definitely check out Monkey Man when you get a chance. Other films being released in 4K. 2 of the Trey Parker, what's the other guy's name? South Park? Matt Stone joints. South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut being released in 4K, as well as Team America World Police. Wow. But from what I can tell, no unrated cut on World Police, just I believe the theatrical version. I haven't been able to find any information on it. So. All right. And then the Joe Dante film Matinee being released in 4K. This is a John Goodman film, brand new 4K restoration of that, and comes with a new some new audio commentaries, new interviews, and more. Most of the bonus features will be on the Blu-ray, which includes some deleted and extended scenes. Purple Rain, exclusive new restoration, Matt, from, I need you to sit down, an 8K scan of the original camera negative, restored audio, HDR presentation of the film, audio commentary, and a bunch of other archival stuff. Are you a Purple Rain fan?
You know what? I've never seen it. To be quite honest with you, never seen it. I've listened to the album; it's a great album, but I've never seen the actual film that it's based off of. But I would like to point out that this, folks, this is the seed. They've started to do 8K scans. One day, the TVs are going to come down low enough. The 8K player is going to come down low enough. And Chris, with all of his, he says that now, he's lying. I give it 5 years.
Because I can't see any better, right, than 4K. Like, yes,
you can. Oh yeah.
I don't need it. I'm Matt. I've told you, I'm gonna be 40 something in like a month and 7 days from the recording of this episode. Look, not even Chris, a month. What's 25 days plus whatever it is?
So here's the thing, Chris. What's gonna happen? This is what's gonna happen.
It's a month.
They're gonna do an 8K transfer of brick. They're going to do an 8K transfer of Rope. They're going to gush on and on and on about how it's the greatest thing you've ever seen. You have to see it.
What about Drive? Yeah.
Drive, whatever. You're going to start getting these long list of films that you love.
No.
And people are going to start going, it's amazing. And then you know what? Chris is going to say to himself, this is my hobby. Like, what else do I have to spend my money on? I bought my house. It's paid off. What am I using my disposable income on? And
My house is not paid off. First of
yeah,
all.
well,
And it
here's
won't be
the thing.
for a little while. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You know what I mean. I mean, you go out, you're selling you sell your house that's, gone, made money hand over fist because you're in an up and coming neighborhood. You move back to some place that nobody wants to live in, and there you go. Then you got all this money. I'm telling you, Chris, it's gonna happen.
It's not.
It is.
Matt, I don't need a higher resolution of everything. I have Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, or whatever. I'm good. I'm telling you, I don't see.
I don't honestly
need to do it.
The way you talk about fidelity and color and presentation and how much that means to you, I just don't think that if there's a better format out there, and they start bringing the technology and they start giving you something that's like, now granted, if it's like something that you'll do your research, you'll see, like, if it doesn't, but you're gonna hit a tipping point where there's enough out there that's gonna push you over the edge where maybe it is better, and we'll see. And I think it's gonna happen. That's all I'm saying. And this is the seed. Rescanning Prince's giving you an 8K scan of Purple Rain.
Okay, sure. I don't think that's the case.
You know what? You know what? Let's get our what are the odds pull out your what are the odds notebook, and that we never check, and put this down.
All right, go ahead.
What are the odds that Chris upgrades to 8K in the next 8 years? I'm going to say that is a 75% chance.
75.
Yes.
Here's the thing you got to remember.
What's that?
I am married.
That's fair.
I have a spouse.
I
Who
understand.
would probably leave me if I started rebuying all this stuff in 8K for, I don't.
But did you know how often you've rebought some of these things already?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's zero for me. You're saying 75. I'm at 0. I guess we'll see.
Well, you know what? Pin it. 8 years. 8 years.
I'll set an alarm.
Sure. And on June 18th, 2032, we'll see where we're at.
All right, sure. And then at the end of that, we'll get together and we'll watch One Cut of the Dead. Mm-hmm. Matt, I haven't seen Purple Rain either, to bring it back around. In fact, I was nothing but a Prince Greatest Hits guy up until about 2 years ago.
Okay.
When I actually really kind of started to dive into it. I did see him in concert once.
Oh,
with my dear friend Tammy back in, this has got to be early aughts, I think. And Electric Lightning. I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how great a guitarist Prince was until I saw him in concert. The man was just incredible. So, Purple Rain. What else? Cinematograph is releasing Little Darlings in 4K. Includes a couple audio commentary, some alternate scenes, and more. We talked about Blue Velvet. The Guyver, Matt, being released in 4K as well. I think the second film, too. You ever watch The Guyver? I feel like that would have been a new wheelhouse back in the day. A little straight-to-video Mark Hamill sci-fi action.
Yeah, I want to say I've seen, like, I think... Was The Guyver based on an anime or a manga or something? Because I think I've seen
so.
I think I've seen the anime, but I've never seen the live action version.
Okay, well that's coming out. And then the Giallo Case of the Bloody Iris is being released with a brand new 4K restoration, a new interview, and a new commentary track included on that, Matt. Your Viper video pick of the week, I want to go with Nail Gun Massacre. The classic film from is it 85? Basically, it's a rape revenge film. This woman gets all dressed up in like this big suit with a motorcycle helmet mask. It's kind of taped up so you can only see a little bit. And she basically takes a nail gun and kills rapists and bad guys for like 80 minutes and makes really bad jokes and puns the whole time. Mm-hmm. I think you'd love it. It's a brand new restoration on that. You're going to be able to watch it in 4:3 or 1.78:1. New audio commentaries, new interviews. This is from Terror Vision. They went all out on this thing. So you can pick this up as well. So there you go, Matt. What should we be streaming this week?
So I'm going to recommend a little horror film that I caught on Shudder called Come True. It is about a young woman named Sarah who is plagued by nightmares, and she decides that she is going to participate in a sleep study at a university, when she finds out that maybe she's a conduit to another place, another world. It's got atmosphere to spare. It's got some really good visuals, some really creepy scenes. I don't know if it completely sticks the landing at the very, very end, but overall, I had a good time with it, and I thought it was pretty damn creepy through 90% of the running time. So I would recommend you check it out. It's available on Shudder.
And I'm just going to remind everybody too that Godzilla
Minus one
is currently available on Netflix. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you check it out. All right, good, fun, great, grand. Let's go ahead, Matt, and wrap up the big show by sharing our 5 favorite family films. This one didn't quite make the cut for me, though I think it's the second time it's been brought up in like 2 or 3 weeks, so enjoy.
Where is the poison? The battle of wits has begun. It ends when you decide and we both drink and find out who is right and who is dead.
But it's so simple. All I have to do is divine from what I know of you. Are you the sort of man who would put the poison into his own goblet or his enemy's? Now, a clever man would put the poison into his own goblet because he would know that only a great fool would reach for what he was given. I'm not a great fool, so I can clearly not choose the wine in front of you. But you must have known I was not a great fool. You would have counted on it, so I can clearly not choose the wine in front of me.
You've made your decision then?
Not remotely. Because iocane comes from Australia, as everyone knows. And Australia is entirely peopled with criminals. And criminals are used to having people not trust them, as you are not trusted by me, so I can clearly not choose the wine in front of you.
Truly, you have a dizzying intellect.
Wait till I get going!
Wait till I get going, Matt. All right, so that, of course, is a clip from The Princess Bride, one of the probably greatest family films of all time. I bought it on 4K in the last Barnes & Noble sale. The first time I think I had owned it on physical media, except for VHS, actually.
Okay, nice.
Still haven't watched it.
Yeah,
but I need to get around to it at some point. It is still a classic film. So, Matt, why don't you start us off? What is your 5th favorite or 5th recommendation for a family film?
All right.
Oh, you know what? I'm kicking myself now.
What's that?
I talked about it at the beginning of the show, and I wanted to ask you, how did you see Inside Out 2 with First Run Jr. or no?
I did, yeah. I did see it.
What did she think of it?
I think she liked it. I think she enjoyed it. She's of the age where she thinks it's funny where if I ask her a question or her opinion on something, she just looks at me for a while and then she just like goes back to doing whatever she was doing. So she, I think she enjoyed it. But I didn't get a lot of deeper insight into what her feelings of it were, other than that she liked it.
So how was that as an experience for you as a father watching kind of this thing unfold in front of you? You're like, yep, that's me. That's my life right now.
It was a little cranked to 11 a little bit. Like it's not quite that pronounced. But okay. But she's 12, that red button has already been flashing, but at least she's not like screaming at me like they were in the film or anything like that. So.
Oh, that's good. All right. Yeah, my dog's going to be 7 in about a week because I know it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, well, she'll be 49, just like you.
Yeah. Ouch. All right, go ahead. Number 5, you son of a bitch.
My number 5 then is, so I'm not a huge baseball fan. I can take it or leave it. I'm more of a football guy myself, but it is America's pastime. It can ruin people's days, grow men's days, just like it has Chris's possibly. Mm-hmm. So my number 5 then is, I think, obviously one of the great baseball films, maybe one of the great sports films of all time. It's The Sandlot. It is a story of a boy who's nerdy. He's not athletic. He's kind of moved to a new town and he's looking for friends in the summer, and he hooks up with some kids who just love baseball and they're just playing baseball all the time. It is just it's one of those films that I think a lot of them are just this infinitely repeatable. It's just fun to watch. It's about the kind of bonds of friendship, and it's just a good time, despite the fact that one of them makes a move on a much older woman.
Yeah, I have not seen The Sandlot. I think that's I had passed through that age, when that film came out.
Sure.
So I have not seen it. I've always heard good things about it though, and I always see the cast or whatever. Every now and then stuff pops up about it, and was it Smalls? You're killing me or something like that?
Yeah.
What is the?
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah. See. Yeah. It's memeable for sure. I've seen it out there. My number 5 then, ironically enough, is going to be Inside Out.
Oh, nice.
I think, and the reason why is I think it's a great film for a family to watch if you have an adolescent to kind of work together, not work together, but to experience it together and have that those kind of emotional kind of connections, and maybe you'll be able to create or forge some new ones by watching this with your kid. And especially too, I think one of the best things about the film that we just did not get in the new one, unfortunately, was Bing Bong. Which is one
did not get traumatized by the death of your imaginary friend.
That was one of the most heart-wrenching scenes in cinema for me, right? In the past. When did that first one come out? 2015? Yeah, so it passed in almost 10 years. So it's the only animated film on the list for me.
Yeah, okay.
But I wanted to get it on there. I kind of have a thought process behind all of them, and this was this one where, because not only is it engaging and very funny, but very heartfelt and emotional, but it's very smart. And it kind of, I think, is an interesting way for kids to kind of explore maybe some of the stuff they're feeling while they're watching a very entertaining and heartfelt animated comedy. So there you go.
Very good. All right, then my number 4 then is a film that I did not have high expectations for. This film had no reason to be as good as it was, but you know what? I fell into the trap of discounting Lord and Miller and their version. They're the Lego Movie, basically a tie-in for a series of blocks. I didn't really get what this was supposed to be about, but between Chris Pratt and Elizabeth Banks and Will Arnett and just all the little nods to pop culture, they are just a heck of a lot of fun. And then, of course, the message in and of itself about parents spending time with their children and enjoying hobbies together and not being all about work and having time to have fun and things like that. It was a lot of fun, and it's a film that I honestly had such low expectations for it. It just really knocked me on my ass because it was so much fun.
Yeah, it is really good. But the only thing I think of now whenever I think of the Lego Movie is how bad the sequel is. The Batman one's okay.
Yeah,
I think. Good. But the Lego Movie 2, whatever, is just, the film's inert. It's really weird how badly they missed with that one. My number 4 is, at some point you need to introduce your kids to one of though they're not quite as subversive, I guess, as they were originally, but it's the Muppet Movie. And great music, Rainbow Connection, Matt, still gets me, as does, what is it, I Think It's Gonna Happen Someday, the Gonzo song. Oh, good Lord, that one will break your heart too. But yeah, so just wonderful, beautiful stuff as the Muppets go on their adventure. You get introduced to each one as they go, and it's very funny. It works on a level for adults as well, and I think is a great encapsulation of everything that is magical about the Muppets. So that's my 4.
Yeah, Moving Right Along is really good too. It's a good song. All right, so my number 3 is a film I talk about a lot. If you listen to this show at all, I've mentioned it many, many, many times. But it is, again, a film that was not well received, or at least did not do well when it came out. But it's the animated film Iron Giant. It's basically about, again, a lonely misfit boy who finds a giant robot out in the woods in 50s Maine, I believe it is. And you want to talk about your heartfelt endings, Superman will just never hit the same again.
Yeah, absolutely. I still, man, whenever I think about that, I get upset because I would love to have Brad Bird make a Superman film after watching that thing. My number 3 then is a way to introduce some adventure and horror potentially into your kid's life if you want to kind of get them into, or at least some thrills, right? And that is going to be Richard Donner's The Goonies from 1985. Goonies Never Die, and featuring a great cast of kids and freaky weird stuff as the kids go on an adventure trying to look for pirate treasure, and it's just a quintessential kind of kids in danger kind of movie that was so rife in the 80s. Another great one is like Cloak and Dagger, right? But Richard Donner absolutely nails it with the Goonies, so that's my 3.
All right. My number 2 then is Steven Spielberg's kind of love letter to childhood in E.T. It is a quintessentially 80s movie. You cannot separate or overstate enough how culturally impactful that film was, but as kind of a part of the cinematic landscape as it is, as much as you've seen it, once you kind of put it on, it's just one of those movies that it just sucks you in. And there are just scenes in that film that just show Spielberg's mastery of different types of film. And, you know, to this day, when Elliot, you know, flies across the moon and the John Williams score swells and all this stuff goes on, it's like, man, that is a filmic experience right there. That is cinema experience right there. And it gets me every time. So E.T. is my number 2.
Yeah, it's my number 2 as well, actually. It is just a classic of the genre. Now, I have not watched it, Matt, in a very, very long time. And I definitely feel like I want to revisit it. I've almost bought it on 4K a bunch of times. I just haven't done it yet. But, yeah, because I haven't owned that, I think, in physical media since VHS either.
Right.
So it's been a very long time since I've seen it, but it is one of those indelible films that just stays with you for the rest of your life. Man, when E.T. gets sick, too, oh, my God. Horrible. Just heart-wrenching. So, yeah, that's my number 2 as well.
All right. So, as we've mentioned several times here, you know, I'm a little younger than Chris, so this was probably I was a lot younger in kid terms when I saw this film, but my number 1 is The Goonies. It is not only is it the 80s kind of in a nutshell, kids in peril, like the most implausible of circumstances, finding a treasure map in your dad's attic, right? But I can tell you, as a kid in the 80s, this kicked off of like, man, we are going to find a treasure map somewhere. Like, this seemed absolutely plausible. I mean, maybe not the giant octopus that got cut out of the final cut, but the you know, finding the treasure map and going on an adventure, it's just, it was something that kicked off a lot of days in the woods, kind of running around and kind of playing out different fantasy scenarios of finding some kind of buried treasure. So, it's one of those films that's just a nostalgia film for me, and it's infinitely watchable. I mean, once it comes on, I can't tell you how many times it's kind of just sucked me in, and I just keep watching it.
No, I think that's, obviously, I agree with you. It's my number 3. So then my number 1 is Robert Zemeckis' Back to the Future. Mm-hmm. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd. It's, again, a perfect film, and maybe have some stuff that may be a little harder for some kids to grasp, you know, so maybe you want to have them be in that 12, 13 range and not that 7, 8 year old range, I guess. Especially when his mom wants to make out with him. That might be a little weird for some kids.
The incest angle, the potential, peeping Tom, voyeur angle, sexual assault in a car. But outside of all that, the racism, sure, whatever.
That's true. I was forgetting about the assault in the car. So, but still, Back to the Future, though, it's perfect blend of adventure, and it's shot beautifully. It's a gorgeous film, and the music, too, is fantastic. One of the better soundtracks of the 80s. So, that's, my 1 is Back to the Future.
Very good.
Honorable mentions?
Yeah, so Inside Out.
Yep.
The Wizard of Oz, I think, is just something everybody's got to see with their family. Spirited Away. It's got some scary parts in it, but it's a very cool film. Frozen, as much as that was a part of the zeitgeist and so many people have seen it, it's really popular for a reason. Same thing with The Incredibles. I really enjoyed Onward, but maybe that's just my own bias. I also thought Soul was very poignant, and I thought it had a lot to say. That's got some tough conversations. And then finally, The Last Unicorn, based on the Peter Beagle book, which I think is a Rankin and Bass film, but the Red Bull, the bull made out of fire, is just like the coolest creature design I've seen come out of like the late 70s.
I think they just announced that being released in 4K as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Stuff you didn't mention. I have Wall-E on here.
Okay.
I just adore Wall-E, but that's more because I just love it so much. Toy Story 2, I guess really all of them, really, but still. Toy Story 2 I think is still the best out of all of them. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Something Wicked This Way Comes.
I expected that to be on your list.
Older, if you want to start getting your kids into horror a bit. The Explorers, as well, was one I really liked as a kid. And then, of course, Labyrinth. You gotta get Labyrinth in there.
Right.
Especially if you're a young girl, or well, I guess boy, maybe, depending on what your things are, just about to hit puberty and discover your romantic inclinations, I guess, right? So there you go, folks. Those are our 5 favorite family films. What would you put on the old television there in your brand new 8K setup? Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. We would love to hear from you. Matt, what's coming up next week on The Big Show?
We're catching up with the latest from Austin Butler and Tom Hardy and the Bike Riders, a film loosely based, I believe, on the kind of origins of the Outlaws motorcycle gang, which was one of the first outlaw motorcycle gangs in the country.
Nice. Bring you back, Matt, to your...
My 1%er days? Yeah, sure. Yeah, right. Yes.
Absolutely. And coming up the week after that, too. I thought it was going to come out this week, so I was going to do a Hail Mary there, but it's not, is Kinds of Kindness, which I'm very excited to see.
Okay.
But I did see, Matt, it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes long,
of course.
Prepare yourself.
Thank God.
In the meantime, you can check us out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually, you will find us. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and give us a review to help other people find the show. Where are we in Screen Run? Your episode, I think, is still the most recent, though we will have another one dropping soon. I think it's going to be The Faculty next, or is it The Puppet Masters? Whichever one is linearly, timeline-wise,
Gotcha.
That's the next one that's coming out. And then, what do I say, Apple Podcasts, give us a review to help other people find the show. And over to firstrun.com. You can get archives of all the old shows, see the report card, and all the other fun stuff. So I guess that is that. So thank you all for listening. Take care of yourselves. We love you all very much, and we will see you all soon. Take care.
Let's have some action. Let's have some asses wiggling. I want some perfection.